Have you ever looked at a plant with these incredible white or pink patches and just thought, how? I mean, it seems to break the #1 rule of being a plant, right? Be green, eat sunlight. Well, today we're going to pull back the leaf and get into the science of one of nature's most beautiful puzzles.
So let's just get right to it. Green means chlorophyll, and chlorophyll means food. So giving that up, well, it seems like a huge evolutionary screw-up. But as we're about to find out, this is no mistake. It's actually a super complex, high-stakes strategy.
And this whole phenomenon has a name, of course, foliar variegation. And once you know what to look for, you'll see it everywhere. From that super expensive monstera you've been eyeing online to plants hiding out on the forest floor, nature loves to paint outside the green lines.
Okay, so what is variegation really? At its core, it's a disruption. It's a glitch where the plant, for some reason, just can't produce or hang on to its green pigment, its chlorophyll, in certain spots. And that's what gives us those amazing multicolored zones. Now, this glitch can happen in a couple of different ways. First, you've got structural variegation. This is more of a physical trick, like tiny air pockets in the leaf that reflect light and create a silvery look. But the second kind, the one we're really going to get into, is pigment-related. That's a real chemical change happening deep down in the plant cells. To really get how this works, we have to zoom way, way in, right to the plant's growing tip. And I want you to think of this tip as a tiny, layered sandwich of cells. Because right here, this is where the plant's whole future gets mapped out. And this brings us to this wild concept called a periclinal chimera. Yeah, I know, it's a mouthful, but all it really means is that the plant is made of 2 or more genetically different types of cells, all growing together in these neat stacked layers. It is literally one plant that's running 2 different sets of DNA instructions at the same time. So let's break down that cellular sandwich. It's got 3 layers. L1 is the top piece of bread, the outer skin. L3 is the bottom piece, the inner core. But the magic, the real action, often happens in that middle layer, L2. Now, if a mutation pops up in that L2 layer that stops it from making chlorophyll, what you get is a plant with a green core and a white layer just under the surface. This is exactly how those classic, beautiful white-edged leaves are made.
Okay, so this might answer a question you've had if you're a plant person. Why do some variegated plants suddenly go back to being all green? Well, it all comes down to how those mutated cells are arranged. When a whole layer is mutated, like in a periclinal chimera, it's super stable. But sometimes the mutation is just a wedge through all the layers, like a slice of pie. That's a sectorial chimera, and it's really unstable. This is why those trendy half-moon leaves are such a gamble. The stronger green cells can just outgrow the white part and take over.
So we know where it happens, in that cellular sandwich. But now let's go a level deeper and ask how. What's the actual glitch in the code? It's time to pop the hood and look at the genetic engine room.
It turns out the error can come from 2 different places. It can happen in the plant's main computer, its nuclear DNA, or the error can happen inside the little green energy factories themselves, the chloroplasts. And yeah, you heard that right. They have their own separate, tiny little genome. A perfect example of a bug in the main computer's code happens in a plant called Arabidopsis mutans. It's missing a key protein that acts like a bodyguard for baby chloroplasts, protecting them from bright light. So every cell faces a choice. If it can handle the light stress, it turns green. But if it can't, the chloroplasts literally get bleached by the light. They get destroyed, and the cell turns white.
But sometimes the problem isn't a small bug in the main software. Sometimes it's a complete and total meltdown inside the energy factory itself. And for that, we have to look at this wild herb called Dianella tasmanica. Its variegation is caused by one of the most bananas genetic errors ever found inside a plastid. Just look at this. On the left, that's the size of the normal instruction manual for a chloroplast in the green parts of the plant. But on the right, in the white parts, the instruction manual is enormous. It's been totally scrambled. It is a complete structural mess caused by some seriously faulty genetic copying. And here is the knockout punch. During that whole scrambling process, a huge chunk of DNA, 7,094 base pairs, was just deleted, ripped out. And this wasn't just any random chunk. It had the essential genes for building the photosynthesis machinery. Without those genes, that cell is biochemically incapable of ever being green. It's a permanent hardware failure. Okay, so we've got cellular sandwiches and we've got broken genetic code, all leading to a plant that can't properly make its own food.
And this brings us right back to our big question. If this is so costly, why on earth would nature let it survive?
I mean, this is the whole conflict, right? A variegated plant is playing life on hard mode. It's less efficient, it grows slower, so there has to be some incredible secret advantage. It must have some kind of superpower up its sleeve. And the leading theory is that this superpower is defense. It's a sophisticated con job to keep from being eaten. The white patches can look like damage from bugs or fungus, tricking pests into thinking the leaf is already taken. Or it could be a warning sign like, hey, I taste bad. It could even be camouflage in a sun-dappled forest, or a way to make little insects stand out so birds can spot them and pick them off.
And hey, this isn't just a cool idea. We've got the receipts. A huge meta-analysis of a bunch of scientific studies confirmed it. When you look at the data, it's clear. Variegated plants get eaten way less. And get this, they often back up those visual warnings with significantly higher levels of defensive chemicals. They're not just pretending to be tough, they are tougher.
But wait, there's more. The defense angle is huge, but it's not the only trick these plants have. Variegation can also be a clever way for a plant to control its own temperature.
This is so cool. In milk thistle, the white patches are actually those little air pockets we talked about earlier, and they act like tiny greenhouses, trapping heat. So on a cold day, these little patches can raise the leaf's temperature, which helps the green parts photosynthesize more efficiently than an all-green leaf could in the same weather. It's a brilliant trade-off.
Okay, so let's take all this incredible science, the chimeras, the genetic screw-ups, the evolutionary defenses, and bring it all home, literally, to the plants we have sitting on our own windowsills. This is the perfect example. If you're into houseplants, you know the drama. Monstera albo versus Thai constellation. The coveted albo, that's our unstable chimera. It's stunning, but it's a genetic lottery. It can revert to all green in a heartbeat. The Thai constellation, however, has a stable genetic mutation. That variegation is locked into its DNA in every cell. It doesn't revert, which is why it can be mass-produced. One's a lottery ticket, the other is a sure thing.
But no matter what's causing it, the price is always the same. As you can see here, the variegated white parts have no chlorophyll. Their ability to turn light into energy is in the gutter, and the whole plant just grows slower. It pays for its incredible beauty and its clever defenses with its own energy budget.
Which really leaves us with this one last thought. What we see as this gorgeous, random splash of white on a leaf is actually this incredible saga of a genetic glitch, a cellular battle for survival, and a sophisticated evolutionary strategy. It's a reminder that sometimes in nature, the most breathtaking forms of beauty can start out as nothing more than a simple and very successful mistake.